Evening air was cool on Delilah's face as they stepped outside. But wait, wasn't it warm like 2 weeks ago when they went rock climbing? But then it was like snowy a week later. Utah weather's weird. Alistair led her down the street, out of sight of the house. "Where are we going?" she asked. "We've got a ride over here," he said, motioning ahead. Delilah nearly stopped dead in her tracks. Parked at the curb was a stretch limousine, the engine purring calmly. Alistair opened the door. Voices emerged immediately as the door opened, like a TV being unmuted. Over the general murmur, someone said, "Delilah." It was Chelsea, wearing a mother-of-pearl ballroom dress. "I'll see you in a minute," Alistair whispered before helping Delilah inside, then shutting the door behind her. The limo started to move a moment later. "Who did you come with, Delilah?" asked Kinley expectedly. "I'm not saying," said Delilah, grinning at Kinley's innate enthusiasm. "You'll find out soon enough." The drive was roughly 20 minutes, with the radio lightly playing in the background, the warm seats, and everyone talking cheerfully. Delilah felt quite at ease. Sooner than she'd expected, the limo turned into a driveway of a bed and breakfast. Ooh, I like where this is going. Delilah's door opened, and Alistair held out a hand. Everyone piled out, looking at Alistair with curiosity in their eyes. Alistair led the way up to the door. The door itself had a door knocker in the shape of a dove in flight over olive branches. A plaque underneath it was inscribed, "Angel's Ascent." How cheesy. Alistair grasped the door knocker and knocked 3 times, each knock sounding not with a bang, but a gonging, like that of church bells. The door opened, but nobody stood there to greet them. It swung open and came to rest next to the wall. Delilah looked inquiringly around, but still saw nothing. So it's like Scooby and the gang going to investigate a haunted house. "Like zoinks, man! There's a ghost in the house!" Alistair strode in like nothing strange had occurred and beckoned everyone inside. A row of hooks was inlaid into the wall of the entryway as everyone pulled off jackets, coats, or cloaks. I think there was only one cloak there, and probably Alistair's wearing it. Delilah felt something. Something had made the hair on her neck stand on end. It wasn't pleasant or disturbing. Something in the air just seemed amiss, which would be considered disturbing, so it was disturbing. Alistair led them down a short hallway into a large open area. Couches and winged armchairs were spread out around the room, some in circles, others arranged next to either one of the fireplaces on opposite sides of the room. A large spiral staircase was in the corner leading up to the upper floors. Alistair's attention was focused to the center of the room, where a long table was set up with candles and a crystal chandelier. It was already set up for dinner for a large group. But Alistair headed to the larger of the fireplaces, which had several couches set up in a semicircle, facing the grate piled with fresh logs to be burned. Alistair led Delilah over to a winged armchair, and she sat down. Everyone else took this action in turn, so everyone was sitting next to their respective dates. Jennifer next to Steve, Emmeline next to Curtis, Chelsea next to Mitch, Paul next to Kinley, Alexa next to Nick. I thought Alexa was going out with Craig. And Carly next to Brandon. Alistair went over to the mantel. A glass vial sat poised on top, containing what looked like red marbles. Alistair gently picked one up and, almost casually, tossed onto the wood stacked in the grate. Instead of bouncing off the logs with a loud cluck like expected, the tiny scarlet sphere shattered. Fire leapt from the impact and began burning the wood. In 2 seconds, the logs were engulfed in a warm, cheerful fire. Everyone gasped together, including Delilah. Alistair slowly turned around to face the group. His face was hiding in shadow under his hood, the effect multiplied by the firelight dancing behind him. "I believe it's time to let everyone know who I am," said Alistair, lifting his hands up to his hood. The hood fell away, revealing Alistair's face, complete with scar and sapphire blue eyes and vanilla smell. The loudest silence followed. Something kind of like this. I'll probably just cut that. That's terrible. Delilah stared at her friends, who all looked dumbstruck. Then Kinley broke the stunned silence by jumping and yelling. "Alistair!" She hastened to him as fast as her dress would allow and hugged him. Everyone loves Alistair. Alistair laughed aloud and hugged her back. Everyone recovered at once, and all jumped to their feet too. The girls hurried forward to give Alistair hugs, while the guys came up to shake hands, or in some cases, give him a quick hug too. Geez, I wonder which one of the queers in that group. Delilah stayed out of the hullabaloo until Alistair pulled her up and brought her to his side. Raising his hand to forestall questions, he said in a caring voice, "I believe some questions can also be answered while we eat. Time we had some food." Everyone moved over to the table, the men seating the girls down first, then following suit. In their absence, someone had set food on the table. Chicken cordon bleu, mashed potatoes, Caesar and fruit salads, fruit bowls, pitchers of sparkling grape lemonade, and peppermint candies. After saying a quick prayer, everyone began to eat. The meal was delicious. Everyone was laughing and joking and having an altogether wonderful time. Alistair was being pushed into the center of attention as question after question was asked where he had been, how he'd gotten his car, and many more. Alistair would tell stories, but hid facts away. Yeah, pretty secretive, Alistair.